Hey everybody, it's Mike. This is my weekly update, a day later than usual. Sorry about that. My mask burn is turning to tan from the event on Saturday. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. So we're going to go over by the numbers, state of emergency updates, community updates, district initiatives, and then of course the quote of the week. So by the numbers, where are we? 7,670 positive cases. That's roughly 80 out of 10,000 people. 3,478 people have recovered. 290 deaths, roughly 2.4 people per 10,000. 229 hospitalizations. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but that's a great number for us. And then 33,195 negative cases. So hospitalizations, mentioned that's been on a steady downward decline since mid-April, from 337 to 229 today. The original goal of this lockdown was to not overwhelm the hospital systems, so we're not doing that, and things have gotten a lot better, which is fantastic for some of the restrictions and the phasing that we'll get into here shortly. The percent of people who have tested positive on a 5-day average, that's also been on a steady decline since mid-April as of today, so that's fantastic. And then there's, just to tell you a little bit more on the testing itself, 40,865 tests have been administered to date. You remember that we roughly bought 200,000 more tests and want to continue to implement them month over month as we continue to procure more and more after that as well. The state of emergency updates, we had a few this past week. On May 12th, the governor announced that 200 Delawareans would be hired to do some contact tracing. There's been a lot of questions about that. There's going to be more questions this week on our DHSS call, some more to follow on that, but the program would hire roughly 200 Delawareans who would go through a training and exercise in order to be those contact tracers. On May 14th, guidelines were released for pool clubs. So roughly our community pools would be able to bring in 20% of our bather load capacity, which is the water capacity for individuals, actually starting this coming Friday at 5 p.m. So that was unexpected news, but news people are trying to move with. I'll be hosting a meeting this week with the pool clubs to all get together, talk about how each of them are going to handle it, talk through things that may be helpful, and develop a path forward and help each other. Phase 1 reopening, June 1st, the governor announced that. I'm just going to go over a few highlights. I've posted it in my newsletter and on social media, kind of the full package, but here's a few that I think everyone has been talking about mostly. So the food and drink establishments, our restaurants, would be limited to 30% capacity, reservation only. Bars closed, no self-service. The biggest question was, how do you wear a mask while you're eating? The mask is for moving about the restaurant, not while you're actually sitting down at the table to eat. So that's your answer to that. Retail, they can open to 30% of their fire code capacity. Malls, they're able to open to 30% of their fire code capacity. Exercise facilities, 30% fire code capacity. Classes limited to less than 10 people. Childcare, you must be designated as an emergency childcare site. We talked about that on one of the previous videos, and it's for essential employees and also employees of reopened businesses. No contact sports may resume. Groups are limited to 10. Coaches must wear face coverings, but there's no competition still in phase 1. So I guess we're going to figure out what that means for the little leagues, trying to get in a season here at the end, but we'll see. A little bit of good news, not great news, but that's what it is. Places of worship limited to 10 people. I know there's been a ton of questions and outreach on that. The governor's office is actually supposed to give places of worship specific guidelines this week that wouldn't be limited to 10 people. So keep an eye out for that as things continue. District initiatives this past Saturday, partnered with DSWA, and want to thank you to the governor's office for working with me to making sure we could have this DSW electronics recycling, paper shredding, and household solid waste event. It was the largest they've ever had from a collection standpoint. I can say from 7:30 in the morning through when the officer had to shut it down, that the line was coming from Valley Road from Limestone Road all day. I know several individuals who waited in line for more than an hour twice just to get their products out. For those that weren't able to get in there through 2, I know we're trying to work with DSWA on another event, but I'll also post out more information on other events coming up and other locations where you can drop off your materials. We wanted to make sure we abided and complied so that we didn't ruin the opportunity for other events. But it was a great day. It was great to see many of you. And again, still getting over my first mask burn of the year. Senior Spotlight Series, really ramping it up. I know the seniors are getting ready for their graduations. Highlighting every senior in the district who would like to be highlighted. Send me a bio and a picture and you'll get up on my social media page. PPE, still collecting PPE, just picked up another 700 face shields, 200 masks, and other items last week. We'll be delivering this week, picking up other items and delivering next week as well. Food Bank partnering with Representative Williams, Senator Walsh, and Senator Del Colo today on a remote food bank distribution site. Hoping to give over 150 meals out today to individuals in need. And then Friday is the big Newcastle County event at Glasgow High School from all the collections over the past several weeks. It was nice to see so many folks at Limestone Presbyterian this weekend donating even more food. So thank you for that. Community updates tonight. I have a Zoom meeting at 7 p.m. with Dr. Mascarenas and Dr. Sweeney. We're going to talk about infectious disease, a relevant topic today. So join me on my Zoom at 7 o'clock. We're still waiting to hear back from Senator Coons on when he'll be available for our small business call. So stay tuned to that. Hoping mid to end of the week. He is back in DC, so it's been a little challenging. Zoom hour with Mike later on in the week. Check out details just to go over updates and see where we are. And then, of course, the Little Baltimore Road project starts this week. Trying to schedule a meeting with DelDOT so we can just go over more of the 5-phase plan for that project and answer any questions that people have. Also have a Zoom meeting or phone call this week on Wednesday regarding the referendum for Christina School District. With the governor's office, other area legislators. So stay tuned for information from me later in this week about that so we can move forward on if there will or will not be a referendum here coming up in June. And then, of course, the quote of the week, it's really about partnership, togetherness, and working together. I think we could all do a way better job at that. I know I would love more partnership with the governor's office, with us as the General Assembly, versus the reactive nature that it's been. So the quote of the week is from Henry Ford. It's coming together is beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. Hope everyone has a wonderful week. We're actually training this week on Zoom to get back to the General Assembly next week. Excited about that. Hope everyone has a wonderful week. Stay safe, stay healthy. See ya.